name is Rafael Kevin Ainagal. You can call me Sir Kev. These series of video-based modules will be based on the topics under Practical Research 2 for senior high school. Your comments below for improvement. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Today we will be discussing the second part of Lesson 3, the nature of variables. And for today's lesson, we will be having the levels of measurement of variables. So what are these levels of measurements of variables that we are talking about? Well, there are variables, or the variables are further divided according to the measurement that they are included. And the two measurements that we have are categorical and numerical variables. Usually, people would call categorical variables as qualitative data. The reason is because although they are indicated in numbers, the numbers that they represent don't have any meaningful mathematical value. Unlike numerical data, which is also known as quantitative data. So what are categorical data? Examples of those are nominal and ordinal. These are its subcategories. So, categorical data, example of these are in this situation. For example, a male and female are values. So, since they are variables, we that are usually qualitative variables, we turn them into quantitative data by assigning values to them. So, for example, the male hindi naton mahuyap, the female hindi man naton mahuyap. So, therefore, i-turn natin the male, group female, into numbers. So, we have here 1 will be assigned for male and 2 will be assigned for female. But take note, they don't have mathematical meaning. What about numerical data or numerical variables? These variables have meaning as measurements. The values that they have can be counted. Meaning, pwede natin sanda mahuyap. Examples of these under the subcategories of are ratio and interval. Now, what are nominal data? So, nominal data, they are qualitative variables for which there is no meaningful ranking of the categories. So again, they are qualitative data. We assign the numbers to them, but wa sandara it meaningful na value. However, on the other hand, its major difference from the other type of variable, which is ordinal, is that there is no ranking of the categories. So like for example, I would like to nominate number 1 for male and number 2 for female. So these are examples of nominal data. We have gender, religious affiliation, marital status, and so on and so forth. Now what about ordinal data? So these variables can be ranked or placed into categories. So a qualitative variable for which there is a meaningful ranking of the categories. So daya may anat-ana nga mas mataas kaysa sa sambato. Although wasan na it meaningful nga numerical value, pero mas mataas ra to nga value nga gintaon naton kana kaysa sa other nga values. Example, first honors, second honors, third honors, fourth honors. Sino mas mataas? Of course, si first honors. Now, sino mas nauna? Let's say for example, sa if you are watching the anime Naruto, may andang ginatawag ng mga Hokage. So, kung pasunuron natin kung sino nauna, tawag natin sa una is Shodaime, then followed by Nidaime, Sandaime, and Yondaime. Followed by Godaime, and so on and so forth. Examples of ordinal variables are Latin honors, tenure, or academic grades in letters. Okay, like grade A, grade B, grade C, or grade D. Now let's have the first numerical variable, which is the interval. Take note of this one. These these types of data does not have an absolute zero. What do you mean by that? It means that the data or the numbers can extend beyond zero. The existence of negatives like -4, -0.8, and so on. For example, the temperature in Celsius. As you can see, there is a temperature of less than 0 degrees centigrade. Okay? So other examples will be about humidity. Now another data or another variable is the ratio. Now, this one has an absolute zero, meaning if there is nothing that we can put there, it's automatically zero, and nothing beyond that, meaning there are no negative data. Like, for example, we have age in years. We don't have zero age in years. We don't have zero height. I mean, less than zero height in meters. Okay? I mean, we have zero for age. Okay, let me correct that one. We have zero for age in years, especially if you were just a newly born. But beyond zero or before zero, there is no negative ages. The same goes with height. There is zero height in meters. But beyond that, nothing. Let's have our second quiz. Identify whether the following variables are categorical or numerical. Afterwards, determine which type of numerical or categorical data they are. Great. Let's have questions number 11 to 20. Awesome. Now, let's go to the next topic. Now, the relationship between variables are either cause and effect, which is causal. So, example is this one. Music therapy as means to improve teachers' stress coping capability. So, as you can see, the independent and the dependent variables are associated with a cause and effect relationship. So the independent variable here is the music therapy, while the dependent variable is the stress coping capability of teachers. So with music therapy, usually the teacher's stress can either be reduced or increased depending on the situation. In a framework, in a conceptual framework, usually their relationship is denoted by a bold arrow or a straight line. The second variable is functional or associative. For example, in this research, factors affecting the academic performance of outliers enrolled in caregiving NC2. As you can see, there are a lot of factors, but we could not directly imply that there is a relationship between these factors and the academic performance of outliers. Although there is a relationship between independent and dependent variable, we could not clearly specify that. And thus, the relationship is usually denoted by a broken arrow. Now, studies are also analyzed according to how the variables are associated. So, If the study is consisted of just one variable, we call that as univariate. If it is the relationship between two variables, like for example, the independent and the dependent variable. So just one variable for the independent and another variable for dependent, we call that as bivariate. And finally, if there are more than two variables included in the analysis, like for example, there are two independent variables and just one dependent variable, we call that as multivariate. Now let's have the third quiz. Identify how the following variables are analyzed. Alright, thank you very much. Congratulations on finishing this video module in Practical Research 2. Once again, this is Sir Kevin saying the key to success is to focus on goals, not obstacles.